if speech is being regulated, it's we have to understand, or we have to address the fact that, you know, different words can hurt,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And we're so as a society, do we want to protect people from the hurt that words can create? Yes or no? People can be driven to, self-harm, madness, suicide, death by the power of sheer words. People can really get persuaded, take cults, for example.
Yeah.
Words are, everybody drank the Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
Helter Skelter did happen with Charles Manson, and these people had, words to persuade other people, and some of these people were convinced that these words were very, very important and accurate and truthful, and all of that. The words can hurt you if you're being bullied, if you're being deprecated for whatever reason, right?
Well, yeah.
So
I
should
mean,
we allow all of that in a society? And this is just like not saying that's something that should exist or shouldn't exist. It's a reality. It exists,
look
right?
at look. Yeah, it does. Look at Marxist philosophy.
What does Marxist philosophy say on the topic of bullying?
Well, it's basically predicated in the idea that the vast majority of people are not striving in life because of a small group of people that keep the power for themselves. It's basically the original idea is the bourgeoisie versus the working class.
Right, but I'm
And not
talking
and
about you and me, like in the playground. You like
so
as we go about our days. I'm not talking about the man in the high
it's a
castle.
power-based structure.
Mm.
Let's say where in order to be successful, you have to exert power on someone else. You have to put someone down. You have to step on them, and and not let them succeed in order for you to succeed. And that's how they view the structure of life. That's how life happens. There's
According to
always
Marxism,
yeah.
according
That's
to what you're
yeah. I mean, yes, and it has that ideology has transformed into something more that looks like something more compassionate. It's always based on compassion. It's always based in emotion, and that's my problem with it. You don't see a lot of rational people that like purely rational people that defend those ideas. I mean, at least in my experience, I can always tell the emotional predominance in people that are speaking for ideologies. I can tell that they ideologically possessed when they start, just spilling um, certain ideas, um, woke ideas, I would say.
Opposed to
It's
what?
always
Give
the
me
same narrative.
what's
It's
the
always the
other
same.
side of the
It's like you
coin?
can replace that person with anybody else that follows the same ideology. You get the same answers. You get the same ideas. You get the same arguments. It doesn't allow. It's a philosophy that doesn't allow you to think for yourself. It doesn't allow you to make critical analysis on things.
But can't that be said for the other side as well? Like what makes one side
It
so much
can.
more logical?
That's why I'm not for either of those sides.
And which sides are those? Because I'm a little bit lost at this point. Like what
Well, you can
you're
say
talking about the Marxist ideology, and like what other ideologies are on the table so we can choose from, or are we just doomed to choose the one, which apparently, according to as you're stating, is what people are choosing, and in hordes, I guess. Like there's a large number of people adhering
I mean,
to
it's been
these.
right and left the whole time, but it's being pushed to the extremes. Like now you have all the woke people, and you have uh,
Wars.
that's my problem. I think nowadays the left has been taken to a more extreme than the right. I don't see any white nationalists or like a
Yeah, but what do you call the Proud Boys?
white supremacists. Well, I mean, I don't see that in the mainstream media. I don't see that in the even like on YouTube. I don't see channels that
Do you want to see them?
strive. No, of course not.
And
I'm
so
not for any of those. I mean,
it
what
sounds
kind
to
of
me like
question is
this is
that?
well, no. What I mean is like if there's voices, should they be allowed, or maybe
I'm just saying I'm not seeing anybody from, let's say, from a more conservative perspective calling for the extermination of the other side, you know, and I see a lot of that on the left, like
What
really
is the extremist most? Sorry to cut you off because I think this is important. What's the most extreme left ideology
the most extreme
of all?
left ideology.
Yeah.
Um, I would say it's the idea that if you don't agree with their perspective on all those social issues, if you don't agree, um, well, let's say all of them.
No, the most extreme. Don't think about the ones that exist or they're mainstream. Like
Well,
the
let's talk
literally the
about
most extreme.
feminism,
That
for
is that the
example.
most extreme?
Well,
Like
it's
so
very extreme. If you look at the history of feminism
so
and what it's predicated upon, yes, it's very radical. It
wait,
calls for
so
the destruction of traditional family. It calls for sexual liberation, right? It calls for promiscuity and uh, um, it basically throws women against men. I've seen those types, women that hate men just because they think that we our relationships is it's based in power and we impose power on them, and therefore they're oppressed, you know. And they are only oppressed and they're not striving. I mean, I don't know how you can look at society nowadays and say that women are not striving in, let's say, the workforce, or in the educational field. But anyways, that's what the radical type feminists uh, d- uh, you know, vocalize. That's what they say, and then I've seen, you know, that creates a lot of hate and tension between the sexes, and I don't think that's a positive thing,
sure. I mean,
because I mean, we as men and women, and we've been fighting together, and you know, walking the path of life and the history together to to strive together to become with solutions together. And you know, you can look at history and see brave women, brave men that have worked together to come up with solutions, and now it's just like it's insane. And most women who call themselves feminists, I don't think they understand the history of feminism and like their the like the basic idea of what feminism is. The radical ones, the ones that are you know, in the front line of social movements, they do understand it, and I'm pretty sure they follow Marxist philosophy.
hello everybody, and thank you for watching until the end. This has been Woke Wars, and I hope you liked our conversation. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe, and drop a comment down below. Tell us what you'd like to hear us talk about next. Also, check out some of our other episodes. We post every Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We will see you on the next one.